Welcome back to the Code Freak channel. Yeah, this time I have made a PPT presentation for you guys so that you can actually understand better and have all the details as such. So I've made a PPT here for selectors. So we'll learn about more selectors here, different ways of selecting the tags that we have used and the classes and the IDs and all those things which we have used in a more efficient manner and to make our life actually kind of more easy. So if you can actually remember a few of them, or if you can just note it down somewhere, I'll try to put it in a link below. You can actually find it there, maybe the whole PPT or as a PDF file or something of that sort. I'll try that out. So now let's get started and learn about the selectors. So this is the first one. So this is dot class, so user class. So for example, if intro is the class, so it select all the elements wherever class intro is there. So this if you use this, so there is one class called name1 and there is another class called name2. So what will happen is if you put both of them next to each other without any cap, so it selects all the elements with both name1 and name2 set in the class attribute. So for example, if you have a paragraph tag and then you have in that class you type class equal to name1 and space name2. If you have both of them in the same class, then this is what happens. All right. So then next, if you have a space here, then there is something different. So it selects all the elements with name2 that is a descendant of the element name1. Okay, if you have a div tag with name1 class in it, and inside that if you have say paragraphs, so 4 or 5 paragraphs which have a class with name2, so it selects all the paragraphs which have the class name2 inside that particular div which has the class name1. So that is the basic explanation. You can read it once more, it's quite self-explanatory. We have an ID, we have seen that already previously, and we have a star. I guess we have seen it for first time maybe. So it selects all the elements as such. So now let's go to the next one. So if you just taken we have done this a lot of times, so if you just taken a P or a H tag, H1 tag, or any tag for that matter, so it selects all the elements with P element with P tag. Okay, and then if you have a P dot intro, so it selects all the P elements with class intro. All right, so there are many more stuff like this. So when you have two elements, so div element and P element, so what happens is you can select all the div elements and all the P elements which are present. If you have div P, so this is something which we have already seen, so it selects all the P elements in the div class, any div tag. So now if you have div greater than P, so this is something which is used quite often, so it selects all P elements where the parent is a div tag. So basically kind of means the same only. So it select all the P elements which whose parent is a div tag. Perfect. So if you do div plus P, so it selects all the P elements that are placed immediately after the div elements. So you have a div element, and then just after that if you have a P element, then you do that. So you have this tilde sign there, P tilde UL. So say it selects all the UL elements that are preceded by a by the P element, by a P element. Okay, now let's go to the others. So we have some attributes also, so you can actually just read through all of them. So it selects all with target blank. So these are some of the things which you can actually look at it on your own. You can just pause here and maybe look at it. So these are some important things. So I feel here the most important thing is maybe, yeah, this one looks good actually. So a href, so if it selects all the a elements whose href attributes value begin with https. So if you want to select that way, you can do that. You can select if the extension is such a PDF, you can do that. If you want to so this one, what it does is it selects the a element where the href actually contains a substring like code freak. So if you have code freak out as you code here, so it so you can actually select that also here. So now let us actually look at other important things here. So you have after, active, after, before, checked, and all that. So it selects the active link. So some links you can keep it as active, some you can keep it as this disabled and stuff like that. So you have after, so insert something after the content in the P element. So yeah, you can do that basically in JavaScript also, so you can see that and you can try it out. So insert something before the p element, that also you can do. Those are the things available. So selects all the checked input elements. So you have you have the radio button, you even have a checkbox, which actually we have not done in the HTML course, but you can actually check it out in the internet. And then we have a default, so selects the default input element. So let's see some more. So you have disabled, like you have active, it selects all of that. So if a p element is empty as such, so selects all p elements that have no children as such, so including text nodes which do not have any of that. So now you have enabled, disabled, all of them. So first child, first letter, and first line, and first of type. So these are some of the important things. Of all these, actually we use first of type quite often. So let's read out each of them and try to understand. So p colon first child selects every p element that is the first child of its parent. Okay, so if you have a p element inside a div tag and is the first as such, first thing in the div element, so you can actually select that here. P first letter, so selects the first letter of every p element, that you can do, and maybe you can make it a different font style, and then that thing you can do. First line, so select the first line of every p element. That's self-explanatory. So now let's come to the p colon first of type. So it selects every p element that is the first p element of its parent. So if you have a div tag and you have n number of p elements, it selects the first one, first of the type. So first of the type in that particular parent. So parent here refers to the tag which contains this particular tag. So now let's go ahead, and in case you don't actually understand any of them, you can just put it in the comment below. I'll get back to you and I'll explain it to you as good as possible in the comment section. So don't worry at all, I'm always there for you. So don't worry at all. So now let's go ahead and continue with these selectors here. So we have focus. So selects the input elements which has focus. So focus you can actually get by moving your mouse over that and stuff like that. You have hover for that actually. So it selects the links on mouse over. So that is only if it is a link, this actually kind of works, but for others also maybe you can try it out, and you can tell me later in the comment section as to whether it works for anything other than a link, a tag. So you do that for me. Yeah, that's good. So you have in range. So this is another thing. So selects input elements with a value within a specified range. So yeah, that is self-explanatory again. And then you have indeterminate, then you have invalid. So these are all kind of you can just look into it, just read what is there on the right side. I've put in quite a bit of explanation here. Then you have again last child. So last child is something which is similar to the first child and all. So last of type, so you can select the last of the type. So you have link, so selects all unvisited links. Actually this is something interesting which we'll kind of use many times. Okay, just keep this in mind, very important. So selects every element that is not p, so you can actually use that also. So yeah, it's nice actually. So see, you have so many types of selectors as such. There are still so many more. So you actually don't need to memorize all of them. You can just keep it in one particular place, and then maybe there are few of them which you use regularly. So I've been explaining more details for the ones which we will use regularly. So yeah, it will come with practice. So one more thing that we can use actually regularly is this one, nth child. So nth child means basically it selects the second one here. In this case, selects the p element that is the second child of its parent. So that's what I just said. Then nth last child, so from the last it does that. So selects the p element that is the second child of its parent, counting from the last child. So from last, when you count it, that's what happens, right? So then you have nth last of type. So this is something which looks big. Okay, so let's see what it is. Selects every p element that is the second p element of its parent. Okay, counting from the last child. So it's, yeah, this is similar to last of type only. So then you have nth of type. This is kind of actually very useful, which we use a lot of times. Nth of type. Okay, so nth child is one nth of type, so selects every p element that is a second p element of its parent. So there are some repeating type of things which are there, so actually you get to know and use only some of them which you actually require. So then you have only of type, only child, then you have optional. So there are many more here, out of range, placeholder. So it takes elements which have placeholder in it. So that is, yeah, read only elements only are there. Then read write, required fields, we have talked about that. Root, then we have selection, then we have news, target. Yeah, target selects the current active news elements clicked on a URL containing that anchor name. Then you have valid, then you have visited. So yeah, so this video actually was trying to show you that there are many types of selectors actually which are useful, but we won't use all of them. We can actually just use a class and then we just put classes where we want and then automatically do that. But if you don't want to make your CSS code very long, then actually if you know all these selectors as such, the ways you can select them, that would actually prove out to be really helpful. And it would be a real brainy thing to do if you can actually remember at least a few of them, and then maybe try to find out what you want to do, and then based on that go back here and then look at what was that which was there, and then maybe try to find that out and then try to implement it and do that. So only when you do it on your own again and again, you will actually become more expert in terms of selectors. Even if you don't want to do it also, it's actually kind of no problem, because you can actually use only few of them like class, id, and maybe the first few which I had showed you, and then that also works fine. Okay, that's it for today's video, guys. Bye bye. Subscribe, like, and share this video. And if you have any doubts, queries, you can just put it in the comment section. If you want any other videos or anything of that sort, please put it in the comment section. Bye bye.